Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 210 of the Classic Elite Podcast. My name is Scott. I've got Dustin with me. What is going on, man?
Not much. I've been thinking about making a electronic music playlist.
Okay.
And I can't just...
For running, for work.
No, just to have it.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
It's always good to have like genre playlists for when you're in the mood for everything. What's your consumption musically? Do you use like just your iTunes library, Apple Music? Are you a Spotify person, Pandora? What's your kind of go-to?
Specifically iTunes.
Yeah.
Just because I kind of started there.
Okay. Do you use their music service, or is it just like your personal cloud stuff?
Just personal cloud stuff.
Okay, cool. I'm a Google Play person, but I also have started... I uploaded my collection to Amazon as well.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
It's not bad. Sometimes one service is quicker than the other, and if I want to hear something from my collection, then, I've got my choices, which is nice.
Do you just like give yours like, this is my techno playlist, this is my like punk playlist, this is my, or do you have to give them like stupid names?
No, well, usually the music that I've been buying is got its ID3 tags or whatever really well. So if I hit rock or alternative rock or something as a genre, it'll usually do well cycling through that stuff tagged with it in my music.
Oh, okay.
And Google's smart enough now that, and Amazon's pretty good at it too, that, like, for example, no one has Tool licensed from the streaming services, but since I own Tool, their catalog, and I've uploaded it to those various services, it incorporates automatically into like the streaming options as well, like from whatever their stuff is. So, so it's not really like a playlist per se, but the AI that's shuffling the music knows that it's from my collection and knows that I would most likely favor to hear that, but it also integrates in with the rest of the service, which is pretty cool.
Okay. Word.
So it's very helpful when I'm listening to either obscure crap from like college or chiptune. Those aren't really that well integrated. And we are a video game podcast, so thank you for checking us out. We will be getting started with video game stuff in just a second. Normally what Dustin and I do is chit-chat a little bit before that stuff gets into swing. And Dustin, I was thinking about you this weekend.
All right.
I went and tried my installation of a toilet, and you commented last week like, oh, that probably won't be that hard. You're right.
Okay.
It was not very hard at all. Like,
excellent.
You ever do that where you set aside like a substantial amount of time to do something?
Yeah.
And it basically is super easy and goes flawlessly.
Yeah.
I watched one video from Home Depot and was like, oh, that's no problem. I did have a little anxiety though. They recommended you don't need to do this, but if things are level with your toilet, like, you're fine, right? Mm-hmm. But they still recommended putting like either caulk or some sort of a seal at the base of the let's see here. Oh, okay, sorry. Zerk was commenting in the chat, and I thought there was a technical error. It's all good, man. So, but anyways, I used a sealant around the base, in case there's leaks or whatever. And it left an odor that it took me a while to pin down that the smell was the caulk.
Okay.
So I thought that I really screwed up the alignment of the toilet with the sewage, and I thought the sewage thing was leaking into my house. Not the case, and I felt proud. So you were correct. Installing a toilet is super easy, assuming that you have a standard like drain hole and
yeah. Which I assume like pretty much any new house would, right?
Any new house, definitely. My house was built in 1974, so this standard I think's been around for, I would guess, since like the probably 50s or earlier. So, yeah, man. So thank you very much for the vote of confidence. I'm one step closer to being for real homeowner. How's your week been?
Awesome. It's been a super slow day at work, a super slow week at work. I've got very few tickets going in. I've been fixing some of the broken stuff that I had to set aside because I've been busy. So now I get to that stuff, and that feels good. I always love tinkering with hardware.
Sure.
And Kim set me up for success. She made some cookies, and I took those into the schools and sent a mass email to everybody saying, like, hey, come get some cookies. And everybody was raving about how delicious they were, so I got brownie points there.
Sweet. The shy IT guy coming in clutch with the treats.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think adults get more excited about treats at work than kids did about treats at school. Because most of the people are like, for whatever reason, that's their cheat card. If they've been on a diet all year, like, well, they did take the time to make them, and what's one cookie?
I don't want to be rude.
Yeah, right? So, well, cool, man. Glad things are still going nice and smooth. They were last week. So, I do want to give a heads up. Dustin, you sound great. Your webcam's a little choppy. So if you're watching us in stream, apologize. There may be some stopping and starting, just depending on how things go. And what do you got there? Tails? Is that Tails or Star Fox? Tails. How many tails are on the figure?
2.
Okay. It looked like they cheated there. So, yeah, man. Anything else, I guess, you wanted to get off your chest before we jump into any sort of announcements or news from this week?
I think we're good.
Cool.
Let's do it.
All right. Announcements. I don't have any. Usually there's something to bring up at the beginning of the show. At this point, nothing. Although, I guess I'll go ahead and spoil now. So I don't think that we have any Cartoon Retrocast listeners. I told you I was doing like their Secret Santa on the Cartoon Retrocast Patreon group on their Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
So the Secret Santa that I got, I took an old Atari 2600 cartridge and hollowed it out and carefully took the label off, drilled a hole through it, put a clock enclosure in it, glued the label back on, tightened it all up, and so I made this like custom Atari desk clock that has like the hands to it, and then found this bag of like 80s candy. So I just opened that up and threw it in there. So they'll have like Warheads or Lemonheads or Gobstoppers, like all that Laffy Taffy, all that kind of stuff. But I was very proud of how the Atari clock turned out. It'll be a nice little, and based on the occupation of the person that I sent it to and the other interests that they have, I think I've done well. Like,
all right.
Appropriate age, appropriate interest, so I'm excited. So that should be pretty cool. Yeah. That's a really neat thing. Jeremy's awesome. He's just really thoughtful with that kind of stuff, and it makes you like a kid again, which is great. So, all right, we got someone else joining us in the chat. I don't know, Tokyo Ghoul.
Prince Sparkleface.
That's a good name. That's a really, really good name.
Tokyo Ghoul. Is that an anime?
I don't know. It sounds like one.
Yeah.
Or a better Twitch channel than ours.
Yeah.
I guess I'll get into it now. Speaking of Japanese stuff, I got the Famicom Contra.
All right.
And there's so many little subtle differences in it. Like, I've got Japan on the mind since... Oh, it's an anime. Cool. Check out Tokyo Ghoul. And it's neat. There's little differences. There's cutscenes in it, whereas the American one doesn't have it. There's trees that actually have movement in the leaves that you don't have in this one. In level 5, there's actually snow happening, a la like Ninja Gaiden 3, I mean, there's not the wind mechanics, but there's like, stuff on the foreground.
Mhm.
It's just it's cool. It plays exactly the same. I sat down and beat it, no problem. Uh,
No spoilers, King James.
And oh yeah. Star Wars Rogue One. I'm going with my parents on Christmas Eve because my sister's going to be out of town with her fiance. My brother's going to be with his wife down in Cincinnati. So it's just going to be me and my parents, and we're going to go see Rogue One, which I'm excited about. Hopefully it's fun to watch. I'm rooting for Gary. Yeah. So, and I'll get to the rest of the Contra stuff and what I've been playing, but the Famicom, dude, there are some phenomenal Famicom stuff. It's great. So, all right. Mopestine. Oh, that's Jeremy. What's up, dude? He asked how much Contra was on the Famicom. I paid $50 for it.
That's not bad.
No, it's not. I love Contra so much that I thought it would be worth it. There's subtle differences to it, so for me it was worth it. But again, it was an eBay price. Yeah, Jeremy's going, whew. Well, I don't think I don't think I'll run into it in the wild very often. And if I would, it would be in more of a retail setting where I'd have to pay $50-$60 anyways. So, all right. Well, yeah, we've got a lively chat. So if you ever want to join us while we record, we do that on Wednesday nights. Usually we start around 8 or 8:30 Eastern time for the United States. And that's available at twitch.tv/classic_leet, and leet is L337. So, all right, Dustin, man, let's get into some news.
Alrighty.
You listed the first bullet point, and I watched this video. It was awesome.
Whoops.
Why don't you tell people about it?
So is it 7 things?
Mm-hmm.
It's been so long since I've watched it now. It's 7 things that you used to be able to do really well in video games that you can't any longer. And I titled it, We Can Still Do All These Things Because We Are Awesome at Being Old Men.
Yes.
It's basically anything that you used to do in a retro game you can't do any longer. Like cheat off of a split screen. Although, actually, that's the one thing I probably wouldn't be able to do. I would probably be, like, thinking I was doing really well and realizing, like, oh, no, I'm bottom right and I'm watching, like, top left.
I was always a bad screen peeker.
Yeah.
Like, the second I took my eyes off, I was cockeyed and somewhere else.
I'd be the dill hole run into a corner for, like, 5 minutes straight.
Right. The one that I don't think that I would get used to that they mentioned was getting used to and dealing with really crappy camera controls. In like Mario 64 where they were limited, or Tomb Raider 1. And you used to really have a feel for that. You used to feel the clunkiness. And now it's really jarring to go back to that stuff. So, yeah.
Potato toys.
That's crazy. Like a Mr. Potato Head style? Yeah. Is it Prince Sparkle? Prince Sparkle Face is saying, if you know anyone with children, tell them to download Potato Boys. You create a toy for your children and order it. I've heard of bears you could do that with, like stuffed teddy bears and stuff.
I imagine that's a pretty bad like trademark infringement kind of thing.
Yeah, but you can skirt around it. Prince Sparkleface says that he's created anime characters and ordered them, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I got one of those Google Live cases that was made for my Nexus phone, and I kept uploading Mega Man images that would get rejected by Google until I finally found a DeviantArt Mega Man that passed the copyright thing, so I was able to still get the Mega Man case made. Google Live cases suck. Don't get them. They're awful. I was very disappointed in it. However, I was very excited about how I was able to get around the copyright there. So
that's awesome.
Jeremy's suggesting that instead of buying them toys, get them a 3D printer. Jeremy's done some really neat stuff with 3D printing. Jeremy, I'll have to send you a link to the NES that I forgot to link in last week's episodes. The dude that like was 3D printing brackets to get the RGB directly out of his NES.
Mm-hmm.
Totally forgot to link that last week, so I'll do it in this episode for sure. So awesome.
That's awesome. I just remember today, Monoprice was the website that I was trying to remember last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Monoprice has some good stuff. It's like just solid like microphones, solid headphones and stuff.
HDMI cables for like 2 cents.
Yeah. When you were making fun of monster cables.
Tony.
Hey, we got Tony here. What's up?
Our chat is blowing up.
Our chat is blowing up. So that's great. Tony, thanks for joining us, man. He's probably here to see what we have to say about his comment later. But yeah, so were there any of the other 7 items from this list of things that really jumped out to you? Like, oh, yeah.
The camera one that you mentioned.
That was the one that it took me a while to get used to playing Ocarina of Time, for example. You get back into it.
Yeah.
But it's weird at first, for sure. So
playing Mario 64 with Solly, that was like luckily all of that game is muscle memory for me, so
that's
I know
good.
exactly where.
Don't you wish that there was a remake of it so that you could have the dual analog stick and like an Unreal Engine 4 version of that?
I don't know, that's like 3/4 of the challenge. Is getting the camera where you need it.
Yeah, maybe I am misunderstanding. Like, yeah.
Otherwise, it'd just be Super Mario Galaxy.
That's a good point, which is phenomenal. But speaking of getting used to like camera angles and those 3D types of platformers, I put on my Steam wish list today Yooka-Laylee. It's got a hard release date. We'll see if that stands for April.
Yeah, right.
For April, that's what 4 or 5 months away.
Yeah.
And that's an example. Banjo-Kazooie, they had that weird kind of funky camera stuff. But I never really played that game, so I'm pretty excited to play a polished version of that, but kind of a new iteration that'll have some of the normal game things that we're used to now.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what it costs when it comes out, but I put it in my wish list, and it wasn't a pre-order. It was like Owlboy. It was, here's our release date. Put it in your wish list. You'll be notified when it's available.
That's awesome.
Like,
well done.
Bless you, indie developers, for doing it that way. Oh, it's such a classy move. So, also, King James on the chat saying Spider-Man Homecoming. Do you think they've gone too far with the series? King James, unfortunately, we're not big Spider-Man fans. I did watch the trailer. Did you happen to see that trailer?
I did. I'm excited about it. I think that I'm specifically excited about that. The fact that it's not another origin story. If I see Uncle Ben die again, I'm going to punch myself to death.
He's Spider-Man. Like, they'll, attest some of the lore stuff where, I think he makes his webbing versus some of the Spider-Men that it came naturally from them or whatever. There'll be some of those things, and like how Tony Stark's got his suit all awesome and stuff. But it is kind of weird seeing this crossover with Sony and Disney.
Yeah,
like they're playing nice.
Really, I hope that the next Avengers, they're not called what do they call Advanced, or instead of mutants?
Enhanced.
Enhanced, yeah. That's that's like someone stabbing me in the ear every time I hear that.
I think that's Fox's fault, not Sony's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, Fox can redeem themselves because they're doing the Wolverine movie too, since they own all that stuff, right? That R-rated movie Logan coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about that. I think that'll be a fun movie.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
So Tony says he could use a beer. Grab a Tony. You'll appreciate this. Tony and I started the podcast together drinking Sam Adams, and Tony, that's what I'm sipping on right now. That was like our go-to beer. So next in the news, go ahead.
Sorry. Jeremy said, I was watching Ernest Saves Christmas yesterday and thought they just don't make good movies like this anymore.
Jeremy, I don't think that you heard, but I don't know, maybe like a year ago or so, Dustin and I were talking about that. Like, they don't have We rattled off a bunch: Angus, Hook, Little Rascals, Rookie of the Year,
Surf Ninjas.
Sandlot, all that kind of stuff. Heavyweights, all those, like, they don't have those kind of movies now. All the kids' movies are like CG stuff.
Mm.
It was like Spy Kids was the last time I tried to do that. It's crazy. So
that little girl is like 30 years old now.
In Spy Girls?
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, really?
Probably not 30, but like she's in her 20s. You'll see her and be like, wow, I feel old.
I can't picture her. I can picture the goofy looking dude though, like kind of like curly hair, like a slightly coolest Ferguson from Clarissa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The next thing in the news that jumped out to me was that Nintendo in Japan is getting a
that would be awesome if they upgraded their company and they're like, all right, guys, now we're Nintendo.
Just called Super Nintendo. We've had a good 100 years, and now it's time to kick up the processor. That would be great. But Universal Japan, like Universal Studios and like Florida and stuff, they've got a Universal Park in Japan, and Nintendo is getting their own attraction, and it's going to be Super Mario World. And that just sounds fun as hell.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to Cedar Point, we had Berenstain Bears. Like, whoop-de-doo. I think now it's Peanuts. We didn't do Universal when I went to Florida as a kid. We did MGM, and that was boring. Like, I didn't see Jaws. I didn't see King Kong. None of the good stuff. Have you ever been down there?
Mm-mm.
No?
I might go now.
With Sully?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It's outrageously expensive is the only thing.
Oh.
But if you get like a full package thing, you get passes to the different resorts for each day. So I think now you could do like a day at the safari. There was like a day at the water park, and they had cool slides and, you know, wave pools and stuff. And then there was a day in the Magic Kingdom. You could get to the Epic Center? Epoch? What is that? The golf ball place? The Epoch Center? You know what I'm talking about?
The Epcot Center?
Epcot, yeah. That doesn't sound right to me. Epcot. I was saying Epoch. Epcot. That's okay. That's what I was getting wrong. Yeah, man, how cool would that be? Even as an adult, it would just be rad to go to a Super Mario attraction.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd have all the different islands.
What?
You said, like Super Mario World, like Choco Mountain.
Oh, that's a good.
Yoshi's Island.
You know, I just assumed it would be more just Nintendo themed, and they would call it Super Mario World because it was recognizable. But if they leaned hard into just Super Mario World, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Little tiny towers you could go into and make explosion sounds with. That'd be rad. So, yeah, it's Epcot. Thank you, King James. I forgot all about that. So, let's see here. All right. Next, Final Fantasy 15 has been in the news. Did you hear about this at all?
I didn't, but I love how you labeled it. Final Fantasy 15 patching in story.
And that's it. That's exactly what's happening, though. So if you're not really familiar with Final Fantasy 15, don't worry, Tony. I know that you're in the middle of this at the moment, so no spoilers here. But essentially what's happening is there are a lot of people complaining about how the story kind of comes together, some character motivations, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Square's like, yeah, so we're going to patch in a lot of cutscenes towards the end part of the game to fill in the story, because there is this separate like animated movie that fills in all of these gaps.
Okay.
And it turns out not as many people, it looks like, watched that movie to get ready for the game as Square might have been expecting. So there was a phenomenal video by Jim Sterling who's going to be able to explain this better than I would. But I agree with his sentiment that basically his point is that this is clearly a big potential issue. Companies can't be releasing games without even the story when it's a story-driven game. However, it doesn't feel nefarious on this front. But after hearing feedback, they're bringing in... It's not coming for a while because they're bringing the voice actors back to redo dialogue, to add the stuff. They've got animators coming in to do stuff. So it's not like this patch is live. But what sucks is people have beaten the game. Are you going to go back and watch this stuff and be...
That's what YouTube's for.
It doesn't feel like Mass Effect necessarily, where they changed the ending, but yeah, I mean, they're going to have either, you're going to have to go to YouTube, like you're saying, or maybe they'll just have a menu option that they recognize that you've passed the point in the game where they've added stuff, so maybe they'll just give you a catch-up button, and you can sit there and watch the cutscenes and finish the game from there.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a movie you could watch.
I didn't either until all of this stuff came out.
Man.
So, I do
Video
not
games
know.
are weird.
What?
Video games are weird.
They are. On so many levels, they're weird. I like video games because I like to play them. So my gut reaction is always to be dismissive of the story. But that's completely dishonest because there are games that I absolutely love because of the story. So, yeah. They're weird. And it's been in development for so long. How they missed that part, I don't know. Or
well, at least they put in all the gameplay, and now they're going to patch in the scenes.
So it's still a video-ass game, right?
Yeah. So you don't have like these awesome scenes that explain everything, but the game is broken and you can't play it.
Right. Yeah. I guess if you're gonna err on one thing, make it play. It would have been really neat if this would have been lazy on their part, but maybe if they could give an option where you could show a proof of purchase in some way and get like an automatic free download from iTunes or wherever to get that movie. Or so you could either watch the movie now and finish the game, or you can wait till the patch, and they just kind of give you the option to do that. I'm sure that since they didn't do everything, the publishing company of the movie and the development house probably wouldn't be up for that, because then Square would have to pay for every sale of that out of their own pocket, and I'm assuming that's not going to work. But in a perfect world, that would be a wonderful thing. Hey, take it easy, Tony. Thanks for stopping by, bud. Zeri says, what do I mean weird? Are you telling me that Michael Jackson's Moonwalker's weird?
It's a little weird.
Yeah, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker was wonderful cinema. I loved that movie when I was a kid.
It's a weird movie. It's kind of a weird game.
Yes.
It's super weird in the game how they didn't have like some sort of licensing thing go through, so you couldn't like Thriller isn't playing in the graveyard level.
Yeah, but doesn't it exist in the game somewhere?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm almost 100% positive here that there are prints of the game that have Thriller in the game, when there are prints that don't because of a licensing issue.
Okay,
I think. Oh,
that's a weird situation.
But I believe it. And I guess have you ever heard the rumor that Michael Jackson hated Nintendo, and that's what got him like all his stuff was Sega only. It was Moonwalker, and then his involvement with trying to do the soundtrack in Sonic 3. There's something he really hated about Nintendo, and I forget exactly what it was. All right. So any other thoughts on game companies patching story in? Does this bother you? Are you nervous about a slippery slope?
I think it lends even more credence to don't be an early adopter.
Yep, don't pre-order games. Add them to your wish list.
Yeah.
Don't pre-order.
By the time I buy that game, it's going to be complete.
Yes.
And it'll be $10.
Yep.
Today, I was at Target, finishing my Christmas shopping,
Mm-hmm.
I picked up Lego The Hobbit on Wii U for $10 on clearance.
I played some of the Hobbit Wii U. There was like it was a couple-hour demo or something like that. It's Lego, but it's good. I mean, if you like Lego games, I think Sully would really like it. He's getting to
Yeah.
that age where like the 3D space makes sense and it's satisfying and it's cute. So, good deal. All right, next, Dustin, if Microsoft is not lying, then I and a lot of other people have been wrong about the importance and maybe not the importance, but the amount of people that actually use backwards compatibility on a console.
Okay.
Phil Spencer put out a tweet that said something along the lines of upwards of 50% of Xbox One users have tried backwards compatibility.
Yeah, right.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't think I would have expected that. But it says two things to me. One, that's cool that people are still enjoying their back catalog.
Mm-hmm.
And two, the 360 is really as good of a console as we remembered, most likely.
Yeah.
Like,
I believe that.
Whereas we go back to PS2, especially PS1, there are some things that are jarring in those games. You get used to them, you can love them. The PS3 or PS4 and 360 and PS3, I don't know, they felt like a lot of those core mechanics that still we use today were made and perfected in that era, and now it's just graphics that we really take full advantage of, and there's better online integration and stuff like that. But playing the actual games is still fun, and I thought that was really cool. I always felt like you and I were outliers with backwards compatibility stuff, wanting to play. You know, like I use my Wii for Gamecube. What about you? I mean, I know you like backwards compatibility.
Yeah, I love it. I've been trying to use my 360 for Xbox, original Xbox,
That's right. And there's
backwards compatibility.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember when people were upset about lack of backwards compatibility when these new consoles, the PS4 and the Xbox One, were launching, having issues about lack of backwards compatibility, and I remember being really dismissive of that. Like, that's a small portion.
Yeah.
It's worth cutting that. I don't. Are you surprised by a lot of people using that feature?
I am a little, yeah. I expected people getting on board for the new hotness, not trying to play old stuff.
Dustin, you're not so crazy going back and playing all these PS3 games.
Yes. Validation.
You're no longer a laggard. You're just a normal person that plays video games. So that's very cool. Something definitely worth noting.
Although I kind of feel like I've lost some sort of hipster status now.
Right, like...
I'm like that one kid who only listened to vinyl in high school.
And it turns out half the class was listening to vinyl.
Yeah. Only because I made it cool.
Yes, okay. Let's take full credit for that. The handful of downloads we get every week have convinced the masses to play their 360 games.
You're welcome.
Phil Spencer, you can write the check. We'll send you our PayPal email. I think them getting really awesome games is a big proponent of this too. Look at Red Dead being backwards compatible. That's one of... There's a lot of people that argue that that's their favorite game of that generation. And we have the announcement and teaser of Red Dead 2. We don't know anything really about that other than, it's kind of announced. But a lot of people probably saw that and were like, oh, yeah, I want to play that again. It's been a while. Or I finally need to play that. I was surprised. Shows what we know, right, Dustin?
Yeah.
Don't use your... don't take our opinions as ways to really truly view the industry. It turns out we're wrong quite a bit. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, speaking of backwards compatibility, this is pretty rad, Dustin. This also makes you feel old. GameCube is going to have titles on the Virtual Console for the Nintendo Switch.
Man, I guess they are 2 generations apart, huh?
Mm-hmm. I was out of college when I got a GameCube. And it's now old shit. Like, old.
I came back from my first tour in Iraq and bought a GameCube.
So
that was one of the best days of my life. I took like $1,600 out of my account and went to Best Buy and just bought video games.
Hell yeah!
I spent like $500 that day. I bought so much stuff. It was awesome.
So
you can see it all behind me right now.
Yeah. Actually. What games would you really like to take advantage of? Like, are there any titles that you'd like to repurchase, or, I mean, are there something you wish that you would have played? There's a couple I think I would like.
The Star Fox games I never played. I never got all the way through Sunshine, Super Mario Sunshine. Luigi's Mansion.
That would be a good one. Pikmin.
Yeah.
I've never played Sunshine. That's divisive, so I definitely want to see what it's all about. I think I'll be more forgiving going in knowing that some people love it, some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Pikmin was one I would be maybe curious about. Man, one of my favorite games was Tiger Woods. That game doesn't hold up very well. They did have a good character creation. I made a big fat dude, and I was Charlie Weiss, the old Notre Dame coach, and I took the logo maker and made a Notre Dame thing and put it on his chest, and
sweet.
Like, that was pretty fun. But I mean, as far as GameCube, obviously Smash. I don't want to have an interest in playing it. I don't think you do. But there's so many people that do. Yeah. I mean, hell, they re-released the GameCube controller for the Wii U Smash. So I'd like to see, so I'd like to see that. I love Double Dash. A lot of people don't like Mario Kart Double Dash. I love that game. I didn't play Mario Tennis or Mario Golf for it. Soul Calibur 2 would be a good one to see. I love that game. It's got Link in it.
I was going to say what was it, Wind Waker, but they already re-released it. So.
They still will release it.
Yeah, again.
And Jeremy says that he beat Luigi's Mansion with his daughter, which is rad. I played all the way through Luigi's Mansion on 3DS and really liked that game quite a lot. Now we know what Dustin was fighting for. Not freedom. I added not freedom, sir. So this is video games. The freedom to buy all the video games you want. We'll say it that way.
That's right. The free market that allows the sale of video games.
That's right. Yeah. Because it's like voluntary ratings. That's right. Mm-hmm. Industry supported. So, I don't know. Like, that's cool. Like, good for them finding a way to resell us their games.
That's good for, 18-year-old kids who weren't around for the GameCube, but they can go back and look at stuff.
Absolutely. Or if you sold it, and I don't know. I'm not as offended by companies reselling their games over again. It doesn't really bother me.
Or if you lost your memory card and you can't save your game.
Or your mom gave all your games away in a garage sale or something.
Yeah.
You gave them away because you wanted beer money for a weekend. Yeah. I think it's neat. I would imagine they'll be priced $10 to $15. And for the really good titles, that'll be great. Now, I don't think the GameCube was really well known for, RPGs, though, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Usually that's where Virtual Console can really shine, is bringing some obscure stuff around.
Yeah.
But
although we kept saying Sunshine instead of Super Mario Sunshine, and they make me think, how cool would that movie be if it turned into a survival horror game?
Dude, hell yeah.
Trying to survive space and then avoid the well,
yeah, that's enough. Yeah, just you're out in space, like an action version with like a telltale narrative.
Yeah.
You know, because that one of the best things about that movie is there are those hard choices in that movie, and the way that Telltale presents you with both of these options suck. What do you got to pick one though? You know, oh, I really like that movie. All right, cool. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about news-wise this week was that former GameSpot guy, Danny O'Dwyer, who runs that No Clip channel on YouTube. It's a No Clip is a crowd-funded documentary service. He goes out and makes documentaries, and his fans pay for him to do so. And this week, it was a 3-part documentary on Doom. Yeah, Jeremy mentioned Paper Mario. Yeah, that's a good one. It's like maybe an hour and 20 minutes of Doom. Story leading up to it. You know, what happened. You know, there used to be Doom 4. Now it's just called Doom 2016. What sort of things were changing. Game design philosophy, music, interviews with the powers that be. It was wonderful. Danny O'Dwyer does a very good job. He still had those like hipstery artsy shots, and they're funny to me because I'm aware of it. If I wouldn't have been aware of it, then I wouldn't have thought anything of it. But I can't help it. I see it, and but it's really, really good. So definitely go check that out. They don't have a playlist, but in our show notes I'll link the first video, and YouTube will have the next one already there for you. So the channel's No Clip. Definitely go check that out. It's going to be his last documentary of this year, and then in January or February he'll have another one, but he hasn't announced which game company yet. I believe he's going over to Europe though, so who knows? Maybe CD Projekt Red?
Ooh, that'd be good.
You know, like, there's some biggies over there. In Ubisoft in France. Could be some neat stuff there. Maybe some old legacy publishers from the UK. Like, I don't know.
The ZX Spectrum.
The ZX Spectrum, the Commodore stuff. Who knows? Could be cool. So keep an eye out for that. Danny O'Dwyer's No Clip is really, really good. So yeah. All right, man. As far as YouTube channel of the week, Dustin, do you have one picked out?
I was gonna go with Xeric. I don't know. I can't remember if we've done him before.
Not as far as an actual feature.
Okay.
We've recommended plenty of times, but yes, we will feature Xeric this week. It's XEARRIK gaming channel. Just search for that. Or PSN Xer. So, lately he's been doing a ton of Dark Souls stuff.
Yep.
His, that Hotline Miami live stream's just been great to watch. I've really enjoyed it. So, definitely go check that stuff out. Have you had a chance to watch any of his Dark Souls stuff?
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it, and it's hard commenting and not saying stuff that like is common knowledge to people who've been around Dark Souls for a long time, because he's trying to do it no spoilers, or he is doing it no spoilers. He's actually doing a really good job. He's actually made it to Sin's Fortress without any real help, and which is a big deal.
He also does a lot of Warframe streams. Those are really conversationally based. Yeah. Those are fun if you're interested in that game and want something kind of in the background. He's got a really nice chat channel too. All of his subscribers that are in his live stream chats are really, really nice. So it's definitely very cool. So yeah, everybody check out Xeric. He is awesome. Good friend of ours, and really entertaining. His channel keeps growing too. So when he's bigger than us, hopefully he'll remember.
Yeah. Like classic Who?
I did think about him earlier. One of my favorite videos he's ever made was his like precision playthrough of Mega Man 1. he didn't beat the full game, but he did some of the first few levels, and I was just like, man, that's some impressive level of memorization and execution. And the reason I thought of it was because Giant Bomb Premium, Alex Navarro is playing through the Mega Man series the way that Vinny played through Castlevanias.
All right.
So Vinny's now the commenter instead of the player, and Alex is playing. And that's just a very fun... The way they do Let's Plays is great, so...
Yeah.
That is, that's all good stuff. Yeah, Zarek, definitely go play some more Mega Man. You're fun to watch play that game. So yeah, check out Zarek, and next week we will have some more channels to recommend on YouTube. Since we love watching YouTube, we might as well tell you what we've been watching and who we think are great.
Mm-hmm.
So Dustin, what have you been playing this week, man?
Okay, so Sully and I played some more Castle of Illusion HD.
Nice.
And I don't know if the original game is like this, but in this one, you go through and it's a stage, and it's like the wood stage, and then it's Act 1, Act 2 boss fight.
Okay.
And it was that way 2 or 3 times, and you go through Act 1, Act 2 boss fight, and you get a gem, and you have to get like 7 of the gems to get to the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
And this last level that we did, they gave us like 2 gems in a row. It was like Act 1, Act 2, they give us a gem. Act 3, they give us a gem. So it was like they started getting towards the end of the game, and they were like, here, just take these stupid gems. we don't want to make all these levels, all right? Just take these and go.
It sounds like development took too long, and they had to like cut it out. They probably have so many more levels that they'd want to actually develop. I mean, going back to the Sega Genesis game,
like we had to spend some of this money on the narrator who comes in and tells you, like, just take the gems. You good job.
Some of those games, especially those platformers in the 16-bit era, could get so difficult. That was probably a relief to get a couple of gems back to back like that.
Yeah. But go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Sully still loving it, or was that more of your choice to play?
That was him. He was pretty excited about it. He kept wanting to play that Mickey game.
Cool.
So we played that a little bit. He hasn't asked for it recently, but we've been kind of crazy in the home life here recently. He has been sorting through my Sega Genesis stuff. So the other day he wanted to play Super Thunderblade,
I didn't know this game when I saw it in the show notes.
It's like what's that one game?
Like Strider or something?
Space Harrier.
Oh, okay.
Imagine Space Harrier, but you're a helicopter.
Oh, I've seen this game.
Yeah.
It's got like a really crappy frame rate and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's not great. I got it in a Sega Genesis lot. I may have got it when I bought my Sega CDX on eBay years ago.
Okay.
But I was playing it, and it's not good, but it's not terrible. Like, it's a 1988 Sega Genesis release. I think it may have been a launch title. Oh yeah, Zarek just said launch title, right? So I'm gonna go with that. So it shows its age, but I don't know. It's not. It wasn't terrible. I actually started playing it, and I started getting into it. I got to the second stage, which it turns into like an overhead shooter.
Okay.
But all the enemies are on the bottom of the screen. Or that's actually like the second half of the first stage. Hey, Tony's back.
Now, do you change your altitude when it's an overhead thing? So do you have to like lower your altitude to hit the ground targets? And come back
unfortunately, no.
Safe? Okay.
All you can really do is go back and forth. You can't even go up and down.
Do you drop bombs on them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
You're kind of tilted down, so everything that you fire is going down.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't really work all that well, but it's all right.
I remember the draw distance being bad is what made it bad. Like, stuff just pops before you can really react because it can't render that far ahead. Like what?
Kind of epileptic.
Oh, yes.
And how it comes up.
I didn't hear the first part of that, so I thought you were swearing. Like you're just like something dick. I'm like, oh. Jeez, Dustin.
I'm really serious about frame rate.
Oh, that was another thing in that 7. And that 7 things that you forgot how to do in video games.
Yeah.
And it was one of the
Frame rate.
things was like, you used to not care about frame rate. And the guy's playing Star Fox on Super Nintendo. And is like, how can my brain even make sense of all this, like, slow stuff that's going on? And you didn't think about it like that ever.
Yeah.
A lot of times, frame rate issues or slowdown was a benefit.
Yeah.
You know? Except for Mega Man 3. It's jarring in that. But Sonic, godsend at times.
Yeah. I don't understand how people think Mega Man 3 is better than 2. The slowdown.
It's got to be that's what they played first, or it was the first one that they beat. There's got to be something personal tied to it, because objectively, I think it's very tough to. In a blind taste test, I don't think Mega Man 3 beats Mega Man 2.
Yeah. You're wrong, people. Just get over it. Okay.
Your opinion is wrong. I love it. One time in religion class in Catholic school, I got points off for my opinion being wrong. It was an opinion question. It was, what do you think? And I forget what I said, but I got points off.
Mm.
I was like, no. I'm not talking about this in confession, you bastards.
They must have had a bad habit.
I wasn't Jewish. Wait, is it habits?
Isn't that what nuns wear? Habit?
Oh, that is. You're right. I was thinking priest garb. Because you confess to a priest, not to a nun.
Bro,
the nuns just beat you.
Right.
That's what they said. We didn't have any nuns when I went there. Their opinions are objectively wrong. Zarek's got the best emoticons in chat.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah, everything I know about Catholic school I learned from stay with it, Dustin. From the Blues Brothers.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, it's good. You should.
Jeff Gerstmann just played it on the NES game on a live stream, and he's like, "This game's probably terrible. I've never played it," and he hated it. I saw some of Blues Brothers 2000.
Oh no, don't watch that one. No.
With John Goodman instead of Belushi after Belushi passed. I don't know. Good music. I really should give that a try, though.
The first one. Go with the first one.
That kind of reminds me of just thinking about watching old stuff that holds up well. Since I have Plex that DVRs my over-the-air signal, I started recording the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, the old black and white show.
Okay.
That is legitimately dark and creepy.
Sweet.
I can't believe that was primetime television on CBS or whatever. There are some plot holy things up front that get the story going.
Mm-hmm.
But, so for example, this old man and his wife are having a picnic by the lake, right? Old man kind of goes on a little bit of a walk by himself. Comes across this hot slutty chick. Slutty chick's like, man, I'm so thirsty. I can't, it's hot. Hey, stranger, sir, that I kind of know a little bit. Would you like a beer? You want to have a beer with me? She's like, I can't drink all these beers. So they start drinking a beer, and in a very quick manner, he just starts strangling her and kills her. So it's like really dark, but he's like the nicest man in the community, right? So no one suspects anything from it. So her boyfriend ends up getting accused of murder and arrested, and everyone's like, he's guilty. The whole town's turned against him. And the man that committed the murder ends up being selected for the jury for the murder trial.
Oh, wow.
And so he stands up in the middle of the the deliberations and the trial and all this stuff, and is pointing all these holes in the story about how this guy didn't do the crime, even though circumstantially it looks like he might have. And starts, like 12 Angry Men style, starts showing all the holes in the story, right? But it looked like an open and shut case for the community. And by the time it ends, the man starts to confess, and they just think he ends up being crazy. So he gets away with it, even though he just flat out says, I did this. and it kind of ends like that, in this really creepy manner. I'm like, oh my god. There was another one where this lady would abduct children because she lost hers at childbirth, and so she was going around and kind of stealing babies in like a mildly believable, like conniving way. I'm like, this is creepy shit. I am hooked on these Alfred Hitchcock hours. They're great.
That's awesome.
Hey, Tony, tell your wife, Amy, I said hello as well. So, you ever watch any Twilight Zone or Alfred Hitchcock hour?
Not the Alfred Hitchcock, but Twilight Zone still is really good.
Those are still great. Yeah. So I'm excited. Like every night I have a couple of those I can watch if I want to or not.
Sweet.
So, okay, back to video games. What else you been playing, man?
Speaking of Alfred Hitchcock, I played some Super Mario All-Stars. And
transition for the ages.
Solly wanted to play some because he actually saw up here.
Nice. Oh, the Wii thing.
Oh, this is really hard.
You got it.
Yeah. He kept seeing that, and it's still sealed up in this package, and I didn't want to open it. And that's just the Wii version of the Super Nintendo game. So yeah. I had the Super Nintendo game. We played that instead.
Cool. It's bullshit that the Wii Mario All-Stars is not the Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World.
Yeah, that's really garbage. Because that's like the 30th or the 25th anniversary, something or other.
25th. It just says, yeah, I don't know. I have it. It doesn't say 25th. I think it's 25. That would make sense.
Yeah. But we played some Super Mario 2.
Oh, hey, me too. What did he think of that? Because it's so goofy compared to what he's seen from Mario before.
He had trouble with it. I'm not sure why. Like he died on it a few times, and then he just kind of got discouraged by it. I don't know that because it's weird in that
it goes against all the rules that he's learned about platformers so far, as far as jumping on enemies, picking stuff up, utilizing items you pick up to create different pathways. Like that's pretty abstract for a 3-year-old.
It was starting to cause some anxiety. By the time he was done with it, he was in a Doki Doki panic.
Oh, that's very good.
And I left him with it, and when I came back, he was on the selection screen for Super Mario 3.
Okay.
But then something else had to happen, so I think he was done with it, so I turned it off. I played some Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for him. Sometimes he'll be like, I want to play a game. Let's play Sonic 2. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, you play it. I'm like, well, okay, sweet. I can do that. And that game, I kept getting stuck in Chemical Plant Act 2.
Okay.
It was like all of a sudden it was horribly platforming. I don't know if I got stupid or the game got really hard, but I was trying to jump through the pink water.
Okay.
And then you jump over. It's like the 4 blocks that are attached in the middle, and they come up and then move over and go down and move over and come up.
Yeah.
I went up those, and then you jump on a platform that's moving back and forth.
Okay.
And then you jump to another platform that's moving back and forth. And then you have to run across these. It looks like a solid platform, but it like starts to fall away and kind of. And I just couldn't do that for some reason. I did that for like 5.5, 6 minutes, trying to get that right.
When you go from the moving platform to the one that starts to like break away, is there any chance that you can do the wind up? Like, is there a little tiny segment before the breakaway, or like does the platform like come flush where you could do the charge up and then just let loose?
There's a gap, and then the 4 things, and then you have to jump up to get to the platform.
Oh, okay.
So it's like super It was my timing was off.
That's a really great mechanic for Sonic 2, though. I do like Sonic 1 more, but being able to charge up your speed like that was super convenient, and a really good way for them to get around some of the clunkiness of the fluidity of their level design at times.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I mean, how do you think Sonic 2 is holding up for you? Do you mind playing it?
Not until I got to the casino boss battle.
Okay.
Where you're trying to like flip yourself up on like the pinball stage and hit Dr. Robotnik. That kind of became a pain.
Yeah. And that they made an entire game around that.
Yeah, Sonic Spin. Oh, I played some of that too.
That's one of those that I do kind of I like it a little bit. I've got a very soft spot in my heart for it, but like that game clearly sucks.
Yeah, have you ever gotten past the first stage?
Yeah.
So you get three emeralds. Excuse me.
There was a part I'm trying to think. It was like metal oriented. I definitely have. I've gotten quite far into that game before. Never beaten it. So,
because I was playing it and I was like, man, this game isn't good. But I bet I can beat that level. So I kept coming back to it.
Jeremy loves Sonic Spinball. Jeremy, I also love pinball games. He says he does too. Jeremy, if you have a PS4, the new Stern Pinball is free, and it comes with a free board or two. And that is the same company that made that Pinball Arcade on Steam I really like. And Jeremy says that he likes video game pinball, like he even liked the 2600 pinball. I loved the original pinball on NES. Like, I loved it. And I really love Pinbot. My grandma had that game, but legitimately, Pinbot is a fun game. It's a great port of a real pinball machine. And the music's good. Like, yeah, pinball's awesome. Yeah, he agrees. Pinbot's great.
Pinbot is great.
I like video game pinball. I did, though, that Pinball FX series. They're the ones that make those, like, Marvel boards or Star Wars boards. And you buy them, like, per board on Steam or whatever. I picked that up on VR, and it was kind of clunky. Maybe my lighting was bad, but I didn't like it on PlayStation VR.
Huh.
But that sounds awesome, like a good functioning. I've heard that their Oculus version on Steam is good, so maybe it'll get better. Or maybe they just don't know how to use a very underpowered PS4 to do all that stuff.
It's a screen door effect. That's what it
did. Jeremy also mentions Pinball Quest. I never played that.
Either.
I've heard of it, but never played it. Cool. Let's see. And then, oh, yeah, you've also been playing something else. A couple other things.
I played some World of Illusion with him. Because that was easier than turning on the PS3 because my Sega CDX is always plugged up.
Okay.
That game is good. It's a lot different than Castle of Illusion.
I'm trying to... World of Illusion was the one last week I was thinking of, right?
What's up?
Yeah, that's the Mickey and Donald one.
Mm-hmm. You have like the magic cheat or something.
You had called me out last week for thinking that I was thinking of something else other than or Castle of Illusion.
You're thinking of Use Your Illusion.
Hold on. Use Your Illusion. Guns N' Roses?
Yes.
Okay.
Or is it Lose Your Illusion?
I think Use. I don't know.
License to Ill.
Beastie Boys.
Good job.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Speaking of License to Ill, Streets of Rage.
Yeah, there you go. Now, does Streets of Rage have Hager in it? Or was that a Super
That
Nintendo
is Final Fight
stuff? Okay. I really can never get those two straight.
Yeah. Solly is really good at Streets of Rage.
Really?
Yeah, he can like walk up to dudes and punch them in the face. Hopefully, that's not an omen of what he's going to do in his life.
He's, you can, if you just show him that it's more efficient to use a gun and then make him terrified of actually using the gun outside of a range, he'll be fine.
Right? Yeah.
Or be like, as long as you don't do it first, it's okay.
Right? Yeah.
You can punch back, you can't punch at.
Yeah. Just stay away from the knives and the lead pipes and the tear gas
trash cans. Or do they have trash cans in that game to throw?
The red barrel turkey that you find.
Now, what made you play Streets of Rage instead of 2? Don't people like 2 more generally?
Solly picked it up.
Oh, okay.
He's like, hey, he pulls it out and is like, hey, what's this? Let's play this. So we did. He started playing a little bit, and he was like, and so I put in a second controller, and we both played.
Oh, there you go.
And so we were beating people up and rocking out to Yuzo Koshiro, and he actually, he was so good that we got far enough, he got bored and wanted to do something else.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, can you stand like you put your left foot on your right knee and you're standing on one leg, but that would give you like a little prop for Sully? Like you could be at an arcade, just put your left foot on your right knee, give him a little stool, and you guys could play beat 'em ups like X-Men and stuff at the arcade.
Yeah.
Or did you ever pick up X-Men on Xbox Live Arcade?
Uh-huh.
He might like that one too.
Yeah.
That's kind of violent though, but
it's not too bad.
It's got really fun colors and
you're just like punching dudes.
Yeah, and comic book stuff. And it's just isn't that a lot of like robots you're killing too?
I think so.
So sweet. You're lucky, man. That sounds like fun playing all these games with your son. Especially since he's shown such an interest in the older ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not I don't think he sees the spectrum yet. I think it's all just video games.
Yes. And wouldn't that just be the best?
Yeah.
To have that perspective. Like, there is only one genre, there's one console, and it's video games.
Yeah.
Very cool. Good deal, man. Well, you been playing anything else this week?
I don't think so. I think I started... Yeah, I did. I started The Last of Us, but that was to test my earphones and my TV, like I was telling you the other day.
Yeah, how's that still going? Like, as you were hoping?
So far, so good, yeah. Cool. I've been meaning to stream. I just haven't had an opportunity recently.
My workaround for that is my monitor that I have hooked up to my Elgato has a headphone jack. So I just put my headphones into the back of my monitor and it works as a pass-through.
All right.
So,
is there any delay on it?
No, none. Because it's a perfect pass-through. There's no perceivable difference.
That's awesome.
Which is really nice. So I guess I'm glad I got an Asus monitor for gaming.
Yeah.
If I would have gotten... Like, you can get those, like, Korean monitors that are wonderful from a display perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But they can get pretty rough when it comes to I.O. So, I guess I'm glad I went Asus for this.
They got a lot of soul.
What?
They got a lot of soul.
I'm missing the joke. It's over my head.
Seoul, South Korea.
Oh, okay. I was back on Asus. My buddy used to live in Seoul.
I can't think of any other Korea jokes.
It's pretty good, though. I'm sorry I missed it. And speaking of dad jokes, it was either on Twitter or YouTube, but Zarek made a comment to us. He's like, I pulled a dad thing. He meant to watch our live stream last week and fell asleep in a chair. And I just told him, I'm like, in a weird way, I think Dustin would be proud of you.
Yeah, man. Way to go.
If it's not, like, actually important, it's totally cool to sleep through stuff.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, I guess we'll talk about what I've been playing and then get to our user feedback and call it a show. So, Jeremy, big shout out to you again. Thank you very much. I have been addicted to playing 1943 on the NES. I can't beat it, Dustin. I keep dying on the third level. I think there's only 4 or 5.
Okay.
The boss, I can't get past the damn boss. But I know I have before, so I'm close. And it is so much fun playing with that NES advantage. So I've really been enjoying that. I've been playing it a little bit every day.
Do you think it'll just be a matter of like pattern memorization?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, sweet.
And then also, I think we kind of mentioned this earlier, but I played some Super Mario 2 as well. But I did it as a stream on our YouTube channel. So you can go check that out. I beat the game. I show kind of my pathway through it. I didn't have OBS perfect, so there's some glitchiness in the video. And for some reason, the first minute or so was just not there. And it was really bizarre because when I was rendering the video, it said it had 41 minutes and 50 seconds or whatever. And now you go to the video and it's 39 something. And I had the YouTube dashboard up the whole time, and it said stream is healthy, and there were no issues or anything like that. But, something screwy happened. I'm thinking it had to deal with 50 or 60 frames a second. So one of the things I'm doing during this exact broadcast is I'm actually doing it in 60 frames a second to see. I changed some settings. I lowered the bitrate. I did some stuff that I think is going to be not as hard on my CPU. And so far, we've only dropped out of the hour and 20 minutes we've been doing this. I've only dropped 0.1% of the frames. So
cool.
I'm optimistic that I might have that ironed out, which would be great. I really, really love streaming NES games. I love playing those. No one will have an expectation of beating it. I can just sit down and play it till I'm bored, turn the stream off. It's so check that out if you're interested. I love Super Mario 2, Luigi Forever, Princess is Overrated.
I think I'm going to end up getting one of those AVSs.
Good. You of all people really need to have one.
Yeah, because every time I see one of your streams, I'm like, God, this looks so good. It looks so good.
And you're seeing it compressed. It looks like shit by the time you see it.
Oh, man.
When you see it in person, it's just jaw-droppingly beautiful. So, you're going to be streaming this weekend. Then I'll be streaming the following, my Zelda stream. During the week, though, I think I am going to try to put some stuff up. I would like to show off some of the differences in Contra. I would like to go back and play some of the maybe Mickey Mouse games or try to play some Ninja Turtles. I'm primarily going to stick to Capcom and Konami games because Nintendo is really big assholes about YouTube copyright stuff.
Yeah.
But I still love to play the game, so what? If they're going to steal the 4 cents we would make off that video, so be it. I'm going to dispute everyone just to be a dickhead. And if they push back, I'll accept it. I won't go further. But I'm going to make them deal with every one of their videos of mine that they flag. I have a script and all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking forward to streaming more NES games. It's sweet. And it does. Yeah, it looks so goddamn good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. So good.
60 frames a second. So, yeah. Also, I mentioned that I got Contra for Famicom. And I love it. It's great. Unfortunately, I can't read the cutscenes because they're in Japanese.
Right.
The game is perfect. Unfortunately, Dustin, my collecting stayed dormant for too long. I've got Probotector coming from Italy.
Yes.
Or maybe France, one of the two. But since the AVS has a PAL setting, I might as well complete and get the Trinity of Contra for the NES.
And then you can do, whenever we finally do Extra Life again, that can be, part of your section. You just do every Contra game.
Yes. Oh, that'd be great.
Without dying.
I'll try.
Back to back to back.
I did beat, just sat down with the Famicom version and just beat it. And I only died once, and it was dumb, and I died in mid-level. Like, I'm really getting to the point where it's an endurance thing for me to not be one of the best in the world at that game.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude.
It's really... It's funny, because I just know it so well. I've played it so many times that without even getting nervous, I'll sit down and I will beat it 100% of the time without continues. For the most... Well, I shouldn't say 100%, but damn near. And most of the time beat it without dying now. Which is a fun way to kill 18 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, like, just sit down and play it, which is super fun. And then, Tony's teasing. 90 frames per second in VR on the NES at my house. Dude, I have so many gadgets. Like, I need to find the nerdiest girl. Because, like, some, like, average girl that doesn't understand, like, being interested in stuff. Mm-hmm. Some shallow girl's going to walk into my house and be like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'll be like, that's okay.
You need to go to more cons.
I do. I need to keep going to more conventions. Specifically in the Ohio ones. I can't travel too far.
Yeah.
I'm going to be local. I don't want a long-distance relationship. That's a waste of time.
Yeah.
I mean,
then you can weigh the pros and the cons.
But that was a good one. So, then let's see. Okay. Also, I realized that I've owned Minish Cap for a really long time. Mm-hmm. And I've never played it. So, I picked up a cheap 3D or DS Lite on eBay.
Sweet.
$30. Seems like new.
That's really good. $30?
That's what I thought. I'm like, well, I don't have a Game Boy Advance. This is back. Now, I blame my life in gaming. I love those guys' videos too much. They did an hour video about getting the best picture out of a Game Boy. And it was great. And it got me thinking, like, I need to play a Game Boy Advance game. I really need to play that Minish Cap. I got it for super cheap. It's a valued card. It's not uncommon or anything like that. And I went to eBay, and I'm like, $30? Yeah, I'm going to get that.
Yeah.
So now I have that, and I've been looking. There's a couple other GBA games I'll keep my eye on, but I want to play Minish Cap for real. And Tony got this, like, knockoff Game Boy Advance sent to him from some, like, Korean company or whatever, and it was awful. So I wanted to play it, like, for real. It wouldn't even access saves even if you were using a real cart. Like, and the sound was terrible, so yeah. I'm excited. Like, it seems like a great deal for that, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's red. Like, this is just rad. Now, I did have a DS Lite previously, but it was my stupid ex-girlfriend's, and she left it when she moved out. So anything of hers that she left was sold. But I sold that for $70. And I got this for... So I still have a DS. It's a better color. And I'm up $40 still. So
yeah.
Good
you can probably
stuff
find some good cheap DS games for that.
That's what I was thinking. I would really like to... I don't think Chrono Trigger is really expensive, and they did some neat stuff with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's only like $20. Phantom Hourglass, I think is that DS? Spirit Tracks.
I think so.
Oh, I think Hourglass and Spirit Tracks are DS.
Yeah. Probably so, because I haven't played either of them.
I'd like to get those. There's some great Castlevania games between GBA and DS. So...
You got Circle of the Moon, Lament of Innocence. No.
Shadow
Harmony of Dissonance. Aria of Sorrow.
Aria of Sorrow, that's what I was thinking of.
Dawn of Sorrow. Portrait of Ruin. Order of Ecclesia. Yeah.
So, there's games there for me to play. The Mario Karts for GBA and for DS are great. There's all those really cool Mario ports. Mm-hmm. You know, like Mario 4, Super Mario World. Mm-hmm. No, Mario 4 is Mario 3? I don't know. It's all screwy the way that their numbers work. But there's like Yoshi's Island on there. There's a lot of cool stuff. So I'm excited. It felt like a good deal, so I picked it up. And then, Dustin, I have since backed off the difficulty on Forza Horizon 3, like I said I was considering. And that was a very wise decision. I have thoroughly enjoyed playing the game ever since.
All right.
I had that Lamborghini SUV. Then I had like a dune buggy kind of car. I had this kind of Honda sports car thing. A Nissan sports car thing. And so far, my favorite vehicle I've got is my Subaru.
All right.
Now, I don't have an Outback, and this takes place in Australia, so an Outback would be appropriate. But the four-wheel drive makes the handling so much better because you go on different terrains. You're in dirt paths and right onto roads and over hills and all that kind of stuff. And I've noticed that when I'm not focusing on the gear shifting, it doesn't feel too easy, and I'm able to actually enjoy everything that's going on. You ever have that where visually you don't get anything out of a movie with subtitles, but you're really enjoying the content that has the subtitles? Like you're enjoying the story and whatnot, but you miss some of the visual cues because you're reading. I kind of feel like that. Like I kind of feel like I've turned off subtitles and turned on localization. And then, Jeremy also mentions Super Mario Advanced is Super Mario Bros. USA 2. So that's, yeah.
So I bet Advanced 2
titles
is
are all
Mario
up.
World.
Yeah. I don't know. But there's good stuff over there, so I'm excited to play it. And I'm getting close to figuring out how to get groove music so I can use my own music instead of the pre-done radio stations.
Right, okay.
And it won't use my hard drive. So you can either use the Google Music or the Microsoft $10 a month premium streaming music service called Groove Music. Yep, thumbs down. But if you have a Microsoft account, you get 5 free gigs of cloud storage. And anything, and that's free, and anything in your OneDrive is also accessible. So I can use 5 gigs, and 5 gigs of music, you can put a lot of different stuff in there. So I'll take the time to upload a bunch of music that I would like to hear during a racing game, and I will be able to have, their pre-done stuff or whatever, but also my own music, which is a really neat integration. I'm excited about that. Forza's wonderful. I really, really like that game. There was this last weekend, I think I played it for like 2 hours straight, just didn't even realize it. But also, it's fun to just go do an objective. Open up the map, pick one thing, and then you're done. And it still trips me out how naturally my name sounds from the announcer. She's like, "Hey, Scott, the next event's available." And I'm like, God, that's feels eerie. I'd really like her to be like, "Hey, Scott, the next event is available for you." So,
hey, have you seen,
did you hear that?
No.
Oh. Alexa, say something. You didn't hear that?
I did. That's what I did.
Somehow I set her off. Chick's always misunderstanding me, man. So that's been it for me for the week, I believe. One other thing is I watched the new Jungle Book because it's on Netflix. The movie is unbelievable.
Sweet.
So good. I bought the Blu-ray. Watched it.
Would it be too much for a 4-year-old?
Possibly. Just because that tiger looks real. That
Okay.
I mean, it maybe. I don't know. I think for some 4-year-olds, no, but for some, definitely yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll preview it first.
Yeah, I'd definitely watch it first. You won't mind watching it again.
Okay, sweet.
Visually, it's very impressive, and if you watch the old stuff, there's all these little Easter eggs that let you know it's aware that it is what it is. It's
cool.
good. It lived up to the hype. So definitely check that out because it's on Netflix now. All right, man. Well, we didn't get any emails this week, but we will. We've got some great stuff on YouTube that we want to get to. So our good buddy Demez has some stuff for us, and so I will get to that now. I do want to make a quick mention. I did complete my task as I mentioned, and it looks like Demez did enjoy my terrible video that I put unlisted for him to watch. So that felt good that it gave him some enjoyment, and I like his levels, and he's a good dude. So you're welcome, buddy. And then so he starts off last week's commenting by saying, I won a big award. He's got a 30-second video. I didn't click on it. Sorry about that. He says, the greatest thing about LastPass, which is that password manager I was mentioning, is that I installed it and imported all of my passwords from all the sites and Chrome had remembered. At the same time, it deleted them from Chrome. So all those stored passwords in Chrome are now deleted, but they're stored in this separate manager. So someone will get your Google sign in, they don't get everything.
That's smart.
Which is cool. And then he says from there, he can change it to any sites that he wants whenever he feels like it. And he's afraid that he'd have to manually do that each time, and that would have sucked. Yeah, it's really slick the way that it does it. There's also an automated thing where you let it sign into your Google account. It scans your Google account for all the accounts that you've set up, and automatically triggers to change the passwords and changes them for you. So all I did was I let it scrub everything, look for all the passwords, changed them, and then I changed my Google, my master Google password. And then I made my LastPass different than my Google. So I didn't let my Google account be tied into my LastPass. So if you get my LastPass, you're not getting my Google, and you're not getting my banking. But they do have a password generator, so my banking and Gmail passwords are like bananas secure right now, which is great. So
is that one word, like bananas?
Yes. Okay. Dumbass also says, Mario Paint allows one frame to save in memory, so he hopes that he used an emulator, but knowing Mike, I bet he used the real thing. See, I think he used the real thing, too, on that Ninja Turtles cartoon video. Jeremy was much more skeptical about it in the Facebook group. Something tells me Mike really did it on the real stuff. Regardless, though, if I had to bet money, I would bet that he did. But like I said last week, even if he didn't, man.
It's still cool.
You use an emulator for that, like... He could use a Wacom tablet and use that. Like, I don't care. Like, that's impressive. He also, dumbass, just randomly comments. He says, girls are smart and funny. Get over it. Have you been watching South Park this season? If you have, that would be a very funny line. He also recommends to check out Jim Sterling's Jimpressions of The Last Guardian. He will make you not want it. Yeah, I did watch that. And Brad Shoemaker also on the Giant Bombcast was a little like, I'm not sure if I like this or not. Even though most people have been giving it critical acclaim. Dumbass continues. He says, a good Will Ferrell movie is Blades of Glory. He also liked Anchorman, and Talladega Nights was good too. I didn't watch Blades of Glory, but I don't really care for the actor that played Napoleon Dynamite very much, and that was it. Let's see here. I did Anchorman. I think Anchorman suffered from the hype train for me. I was told how funny it was, and so I didn't care for it. Talladega Nights I also didn't care for very much. However, I was almost an extra in that movie. They filmed a lot of it in Charlotte, and it was cut from the script, but they were going to have a chase scene through downtown, and they were filming it in downtown Charlotte. And so we were walking to go watch the Bears-Panthers NFC playoff game in 2005. And right as we're trying to get through roads, all these stagehands were like, gotta act natural, can't cross the road. And next thing we know, all these NASCAR cars are driving through the street, and everybody in Charlotte knew that they were filming for the movie, and you could see all the movie star trailers lined up a block behind Tyrone Street. It was
cool.
Really neat, but we didn't get in, but it was still kind of cool. Still thought Talladega Nights was not that good of a movie, but it would have been neat to be in it. He says another good Will Ferrell movie actually was Land of the Lost, which I didn't see. He said it was very goofy. It had Kenny Powers, which I do like some of the Will Ferrell stuff in Eastbound and Down on HBO. Dumbass says Elf was amazing. It was a funny Christmas Will Ferrell movie. Check out Elf. Elf sucks. It's. Have you seen Elf?
Yeah.
I hated it. I was dragged to the theaters to see it, and I didn't like it there. And every girl I've had a serious relationship with since that movie came out is obsessed with that stupid movie. So I was disappointed from the get-go, and now I have like really annoyed sensations associated with that movie.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's funny. He, like, eats Skittles with chocolate on it for breakfast or whatever he does. Like, the movie's dumb. People love it, so I'm in the minority, I know.
I saw it, and we watched it last year. And I was really surprised at how small that movie feels.
In terms of, like, production value or, like, casting or...
All the above. It feels like kind of a really cheap movie. Like when I watched it, I was like, man, I don't know how they got James Caan and Will Ferrell for this movie, because it feels.
Anna Faris in it too. Was that the girl?
Oh no, it was Deschanel.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
The one that's not Bones. Chloe. Zoe.
Zoe Deschanel.
Zoe. Okay. Yeah, it's a really small movie.
Maybe that's why people like it. It's got kind of that independent charm. Maybe like a surprise.
Maybe so.
Bigger than it was supposed to be. Kind of a cult classic type of movie.
Yeah, it's the Clerks of Christmas movies.
There you go. I don't like it very much. I didn't like it at first, and now I'm like reminded all the time. So.
Well, you're sitting there, and the entire time you're thinking I could be watching Die Hard, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation,
Home Alone,
Home Alone,
Home Alone 2. I love Christmas Vacation. And then also, Dumbass says for retro, the Model 2 Saturn gamepad is insane. Feels so good. Yes, Jeremy also brings up Scrooged. That's an amazing movie. And Bill Murray is Baloo in the Jungle Book.
Oh, word. Dude, that's awesome.
It's rad. Scrooged is phenomenal. That's my favorite.
The part where he falls. The part where he falls in the restaurant.
Yes.
I cry from laughing at that part every time.
That just showed up on Netflix too.
Oh, sweet.
So you can get that. Scrooged is absolutely excellent. It's my favorite rendition of A Christmas Carol. With the Mickey Mouse one being a close second. I really like that one too. All right, and then Dumbass says that he hopes that I'll check out his VVVVVV video. It's only a minute long, so yeah, I'll check that out, man. You should look at Dumbass, Duhmez. He's got a great YouTube channel too. He says that Need for Speed Most Wanted Wii U is a good time and it's cheap. So if you're looking for a racing game, that's a good idea.
Okay.
He says, okay, Scott, I've got an NES game for you for your NES Advantage. It's an awesome game that gets it's called bad. Sure. My vocabulary sucks. He says, and with Rapid Fire, it's awesome. It plays like Blaster Master, which is awesome. It's Fester's Quest with Rapid Fire. It is awesome. I don't like Fester's Quest very much, but admittedly I haven't played it with a Rapid Fire or a turbo gun before, and I know that's a big issue with that game.
Mm-hmm.
The music is great. I'm pretty sure it's a Sunsoft game, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think when I played it as a kid, I was in like an Addams Family, but our generation's Addams Family mode, and this isn't tied to that movie,
Right.
so it wasn't like the Christopher Lloyd style. It wasn't dark, and it was colorful and bright. It's usually really cheap. If I find it for $1 or $2, I'll pull the trigger and get it. I don't think I'll get it if it's $5 or more. So, Jeremy says that Scrooged is his favorite Christmas movie. It's good, man. I remember in Scrooge, the first time I watched it, when Bill Murray's character really starts to realize what a douchebag he is when he's with that poor family, and the cabbie like comes to try to get him to leave the family, but you can tell he's soaking in what it is to be a family and not be caught up in like his TV stuff and all that. That really stuck out to me a lot. I really thought like, man, that's what Christmas is about. And Death is awesome. Isn't there like an elevator scene where he's in the elevator with Death?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Fester's Quest, I'll definitely keep an eye out for it. If I can find it cheap, I'll get it. He also says, check out this awesome tune, No Joke. It's hanging tough. New Kids on the Block. It's really good. I mean, it's New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
Did I mention the Cartoon Retrocast doing New Kids on the Block? Is that why when it came up?
I think so, yeah. They did the cartoon?
Yeah, they did the cartoon. Jeremy also played, like, they were talking about, like, what songs they remembered from it and stuff like that. It was a good discussion. Did I forget something, big man? Death Nods. God bless everyone. Good old Scrooged. Wrapping up here, Dumbass also says, someone ported Super Hexagon to the Commodore 64. It runs awesome. It's good because my crush, Chip Zell, she's going to be featured as the artist this week. A new Mario Maker request. He says, my very first stage. It's very short, but when done right, the full run takes less than a minute. There's no tricks, just tricky jumping from start to end. It's called Look Up in the Sky, Demez. Yeah, man, I will definitely keep an eye out for that. Or for an opportunity to sit down and play Mario Maker. Next time I do that, I'll play your level and record it like I have been. Give me an excuse to fire that game up again. Mario Maker is one of the best games I've ever played. I love that game. All right, man. And then we also we got a good comment from our old friend Shintai, who Tony brought up last week. It's an awesome dude. We have him in our box's recommended channels on our YouTube page. He's just a really cool guy. Also, I'm really impressed. He got really screwed over and had to restart his channel, like from scratch.
Oh, man.
And it's bigger than it ever was now. So,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. It was always funny because he lives way down south, like way down south. And I remember talking to him on Skype a couple times and being like, man, that must be awesome to live where you do. Like, it sucks up here in Ohio. He's like, it sucks here too, man. Like, yeah, okay. Guess the grass is always greener, right?
Yeah. And Shintai's OG, man. He's been around for a while.
Yeah, he's like Retro Kaiser. He's one of our first friends that we've had, like, that I've met through this podcast. So,
yeah,
definitely really cool. Yeah, he was good friends with and all those guys, like Jerry Terrifying and Critical Failure and all those guys. So, yeah, definitely cool that he's still around doing everything. He also put together all of the music that we used for our first anime montage from our first con that Tony and I went to.
Sweet.
And he got us to play a game called Resonance of Fate on the 360, which is a really tough JRPG, but had some really fun mechanics to it. And I want to say it was either by some of the team or some of the people or maybe the same company that did Star Ocean. So there was a lot of like promise to it, but it was hardcore.
Yeah.
It's a little too much for me not having the experience. But yeah, Shintai is awesome. Yeah, go check out his stuff. He's really, really good dude. All right. Well, yeah. So you're welcome for the shout out, Shintai. It's overdue, I would say. Okay, so we've got stuff from Tony and Zarek. Which one of those do you want to read?
I can do both of these if you want me to.
Well, yes, that'd be great.
Okay. Tony says, great to hear from Retro Kaiser, as it's been a while. Scott, I am watching this in a coffee shop with bad Wi-Fi, currently streaming at 144p. I mentioned this because I cannot tell what beer you were drinking. It looks like a bottle of Coors Light wrapped in thick NASA material. I like 2 Will Ferrell movies, Anchorman 1 and Stranger Than Fiction. I forget about his series. That's like the one serious movie he did, right?
Yeah, one of. Yeah.
I like Anchorman was okay. I agree with you. I had the hype. So the first time I went to see it, I was a little bored, and then I went back with Kim, who was my girlfriend at the time, and her brother Tony. And when I went back with them, I actually fell asleep in the movie theater. I think that's the only time that's ever happened.
I did kind of like old school. It got played out, but my buddy and I were drinking before we went to the movie. Took a bunch of beer into the movie theater with us because they were kind of okay with that where I went to school. Neither of us remembered leaving the theater, so we had to pirate it the next day to see how it ended.
That's awesome.
That's the closest I have came to falling asleep in the theater.
Oh man, that counts, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Tony
Tony also hated Anchorman the first time, so he warmed up to it.
Sorry, I'm not sure which app we're going to open.
In what world did I almost... Whatever. I gotta turn that damn thing off.
Anonymous is listening to us right now.
Or Russia.
Tony goes on to say that Will Ferrell is a poor choice for a competitive gamer. It looks like it will be over the top and frustrating. Also, I heard the words Adam Sandler. You know who looks like him? Luke Fickle, the defense coordinator for OSU.
True story.
My friend and I have weekly bets on when they will show Adam Sandler during the OSU game. Last of Us 2. Dustin, I was pumped for that as well. I waited to play Last of Us till remastered version on PS4. I really love the story of that game. Side note, you just called Dustin Tony. He is way too short and needs to put on 150 pounds to compete with this beast. Then he goes to our quote for the episode, and it goes, Scott, I have a surplus of keys because I do not waste them on opening stupid doors. I am key rich. Dustin, slanging those keys. If you were an artist, your first name would be Alicia. He goes on to say, I started Westworld, then stopped after the first episode. I was interested, but then realized that I was just watching it to be a part of the conversation. Then I realized that I am too old to be cool and part of the conversation, so I said, screw that show. Scott, you really have me wanting to pick up Forza Horizon 3. Don't be pissed that you'll never beat my Drivatar. Let me send the networking emails to you. I'm good at that. Who is the YouTube channel of this week, this episode? Did I miss it? Possibly. I suck at multitasking sometimes. Thanks for the shout out. Maybe I can join you guys on an episode over Christmas. Another great episode. Merry Christmas.
Last week I featured Bitwit, formerly the Awesome Sauce Network on YouTube. PC guy, funny dude. Like, he does these weird, like, intentionally lowbrow. I don't know how to describe it. It's really high quality, low quality stuff. But, like, the way his jokes crack me up. I think he's so funny. He has this skit that I wanted to talk about last week where basically he's like this... He plays all the characters in this skit. And he's pitching this this glass to his boss as a product.
Okay.
And the boss is like, this is dumb. It does nothing. And Kyle is presenting to his boss that, no, this piece of glass, it has the VR ready sticker on it. We're going to sell it for $9.99. And the boss is like, why would anybody buy something that does nothing for $10? And he's like, oh, no, sir. $999. If Apple can sell a book for $300, why not have this? VR Ready means nothing, but it's on there anyways. Then the boss's boss kind of comes in and sides with the bad pitchman. He's like, oh, VR Ready? That's brilliant. And then he does his stereotypical, like, Asian accent. Like, I don't know. He cracks me up. So, yeah, Bitwit on YouTube. Funny dude. Yeah. Okay. Yes, so Merry Christmas to you too, Tony. And then Zarek has another great comment for us.
He says, the video game award show is just an advertisement now. It's completely sold out. The show... I won't make any jokes about Keeley. The show is almost 100% advertising. Even the awards are advertisements. Many of the people who won had people on the board judging. Then they throw in a couple of filler awards to throw off people's scent of corruption and crony garbage. Where in the F was Owlboy?
Seriously.
I still have to play that.
I got to finish it. I'm taking a break. By the way, our Game of the Year episode is going to be after New Year's. It's going to be in January. I've got a staycation coming up, so I want to get through a lot of games. So,
hey, all right.
And it's meaningless anyway. So we'll do our year wrap up in January sometime.
Word. That Gundam video was pretty cool. I've completely forgotten about the game. That was my Gundam Side Story Dreamcast video.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how tactical the game felt. The tactics get thrown out the window in the second playthrough, though. It's just an awesome power fantasy. I like the shows a lot as well. I can't remember much of it anymore, but I can still remember one scene. Hero was being experimented on or something. Someone tried to help him escape. They blew a hole in the side of the skyscraper and jumped out with parachutes. Hero tried to kill himself by not opening his chute. He pulled the cord when the girl screamed to him, but he was only a few feet from the ground. He did some wall slide rolling thing, and you lose sight of him. Then he stands up in frame, and the rocking music starts. I can still hear the song in my head. I remember thinking, this guy's a badass. Yeah, that's like the second episode. That's Gundam Wing.
Okay, I would like to try those sometime.
Okay.
They're available. I can watch them, but I think Gundam Wing is where I would start, like, just from an anime perspective. It would be in the Gundam plethora, but years ago I was at a video game store, and a guy whose opinion I trusted a lot recommended, he's like, do Gundam Wing. If you're new to all this stuff, he's like, I really like that. I don't think it's like, that's what I would recommend. And he had me buy some video games on his recommendation, and I loved them all.
Sweet.
Like, for example, Kobo Triangle on the NES.
Uh-huh.
Never heard of it. Game's amazing. It's too hard, but it's great. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Rare made it.
Okay, yeah.
You like different, like, boats and cars, and it's a cool game. So, yeah, Gundam Wing is. I would really like to give those a try.
He goes on to say, I also enjoyed the Mario 2 run. I'm looking forward to more of the AVS stuff. It looks very good.
Thanks, man. Oh, and also, thanks for the tips. He gave me some stuff to look at as far as adjustments to make my stream less choppy.
Mm.
I'm trying those settings now, and I think that it's been okay from this perspective. So, unless there's an issue with my Elgato, I think I've got it figured out. So, thanks, dude. He goes above and beyond to be nice to us. Like too much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really appreciate it.
Now I'm looking forward to this Will Ferrell gaming movie. I'm going to compile a list of all of your predictions. I'm actually going to see this thing in the theater so I can report how accurate you guys were. I'm going to make an actual checklist. I do like his movies, by the way, but I've always loved to slum it up with some slapstick, goofy movies. That was a lot of alliteration. Slum it up with slapstick. Maybe it's because I used to watch The Three Stooges a ton as a kid. I want to come to the live stream tonight, but I'm not sure. But I might not be there. If I'm not, then I'm playing Dark Souls. I've streamed over 20 hours of it in the past 2 days. I'm having addiction issues. Yeah, his Dark Souls streams are excellent.
Yeah,
they're great.
He's got good commentary too, like, and good production and all that. So it's not just because he's a friend; he's legitimately good. And he also recommends Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, that's another one.
That's so good.
It's kind of like a clear. I'm aware that those are renowned by people as being really good, whether you're an anime fan or not. They're just objectively good. So I definitely try those.
I was just chilling out in my room one day, like decades ago when this was still on Toonami, and I was watching a movie on my VCR, right? So when it ends and it comes out, it flips over to my cable, and I saw stuff on I saw the Cowboy Bebop previews on Toonami, and I was like, nah, whatever. I don't whatever.
Yeah.
And it flipped over to the cable, and Cowboy Bebop was on, and it was the very beginning of the episode Parolafo, and I was hooked from the beginning of that episode all the way to the end, and I was like, I have to watch every episode of this anime.
Rad. Okay. I know. I really need to give those a try. I mean, I like over the top, outlandish stuff. And there are animes that I liked when I was a kid. You know, Voltron. I don't know if that counts or not, but it's Japanese animation.
Yeah.
And there were some other things that I really liked. I like some Speed Racer and stuff. I never got into Sailor Moon or anything like that, but
yeah.
Cool.
It's actually pretty funny that we're talking about anime so much this episode. I right before I got on, I went to Best Buy and because I saw Akira was on sale when I went to buy speaker stuff.
Okay.
I saw Akira in a little one section of the anime section that they have, right? I was like, man, I haven't seen that in forever. It's the Blu-ray, so I went and I picked that up.
Nice.
And when I picked it up, because I've been wanting to watch a bunch of cyberpunk stuff recently, I've been thinking about like a stream kind of thing I can do for the channel. But while I was there, they had the 25th anniversary. I got the 25th anniversary of Akira, and it has both the dubs on it. So it has the original.
Awesome.
Yeah, the 88 dub and I think the 2001 dub. And they had the 25th anniversary of Ghost in the Shell on Blu-ray for like $10. So I was like, well, I'm not passing that up. So I bought both of those.
Hell yeah. That reminds me of the original redone Star Trek. I got that for my parents a couple years ago because they love Star Trek. And they went through and they retouched up, like they used CGI to make the Enterprise look better. They gave textures to the planets and all that stuff. But you can go into the DVD or Blu-ray settings and turn off all the enhancements and watch it originally.
That's sweet.
I mean, it's still cleaned up as far as the transfer to being Blu-ray. Like, so Kirk and Spock and, the captain's room or whatever. It all still looks great, but it doesn't have the enhanced effects or whatever. And wouldn't it be just wonderful? I think it was James Rolfe that said this recently. Someone did. Wouldn't it be great if that's how the Star Wars DVDs were?
Mm-hmm. That would be awesome.
Like, that would just be phenomenal. So
just switch between the 1977 version to the special edition version. Oh man, that'd be great. Just on the fly.
Right.
That'd be awesome.
So, yeah. All right, well, everybody, that is going to do it this week for the show. If you would like to join us live, thank you to everybody that joined us in chat this week. It's been awesome. We had Prince Sparkleface, new viewer. King James, welcome back. We've seen King James before. Tony, always great to see you, bud. Jeremy, love you, man. And Zarek, of course, thank you very much, dude.
Yeah, man.
So appreciate everybody joining in. There was a lot of fun chat in our Twitch stream. So if you'd like to join us and check out and hang out with some of our listeners, you could do that. Of course, you can hear we interact with them throughout the show. So that is twitch.tv/classic_leet. That's L337. If you'd like to watch this in an archive form, we do post these on YouTube. That's available. YouTube.com/classicleet. Our podcast is available at classicleet.com. But also, if you search for that in iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or pretty much any podcast aggregator, you should be able to find us that way. And the name Classic Leet, Classic L337, is a great way to get a hold of us on social media like Twitter and Facebook. We'd like to thank Ben Landis very much for letting us use his song Through the Forest as our intro music. And Dustin, before I gush about my crush, Chip Zell, you got anything you want to add before we sign off for the week?
Oh, man, it's almost Christmas.
Almost Christmas. And, oh, dude, I'm so excited. My sister got into hunting this year.
Okay.
She got this, like, so she's doing some bow hunting. I think rifle season or whatever's coming up. I don't know. Nonetheless, she's been hunting a lot with her fiance. My sister's also a photography nut. Well, you can't really take your DSLR out hunting with you.
Right.
But everybody takes their phone. So I got this this camera lens that gives you 140-degree wide-angle shots that clips onto your smartphone. And I've seen the fidelity. They're great pictures for what it is. And it also comes with a macro lens so you can get up-close shots. So
Sweet.
she can do like that real artsy, like good focus in on something with kind of like the blurred out, macro shot. Or instead of just being stuck with your normal picture, she can get a good wide angle without it having to be a fisheye lens, which is normally what you get on. And it's really small, so it'll fit in her hunting gear, whether it's her pocket or whatever. So she could, So hopefully she likes that, and she doesn't listen to this podcast, so I'm in good shape there. So yes, it is Christmas, and I'm excited because I killed it in the gift front this year once again. I'm known in my family as being a good gift giver, so there's like this building pressure. So, all right. Well, Dustin, I have been in a very somber mood this week. It's fucking depressing. It's super cold. I haven't seen like daylight outside of work hours in a long time already. So I'm going to play a song called Formed in the Clouds. It's an interlude track from Chip Zell off her album Spectra. It's a beautiful little song, and it just fits kind of the mood that I'm in. Sort of nice, just chill out, relax, and I don't know, kind of meditate a little bit for a second. So if you're interested in this, it's available at her SoundCloud page. I'll have that linked in our show notes, at classicelite.com, and episode 210's show notes stuff. So yeah, almost Christmas, Dustin, and I guess we'll see everybody next week for episode 211.
Boosh.